This is Module 5, Lesson 1. In this lesson, we'll be decomposing fractions as a sum of unit fractions. Let's start by drawing a tape diagram. And we're going to divide it into 3 equal-sized pieces. So if this entire tape equals 1, then each of these pieces is 1/3 of the whole. So our denominator, 3, tells us the number of equal-sized pieces the whole is divided into. The numerator tells us how many pieces that we're talking about. And a unit fraction is a fraction that has 1 in the numerator. Okay, we could also show this as in a number bond. Our whole is 1, and each of the parts is 1/3 of the whole. Okay, let's draw another one. Once again, we're going to draw a tape diagram. And once again, we're going to divide it into 3 equal-sized pieces. So our unit fraction here is still 1/3. This time, we're going to shade in 2 of the pieces. So what we've shown here is the entire tape diagram is 1. 1/3 and 1/3 are shaded. So these two together are shaded, and then we have 1/3 left that's not shaded. So we could also write this as 1 is equal to 2/3 plus 1/3. So these are our 2/3 that we shaded and 1/3. So this is the tape diagram showing it as a number sentence. Let's look at another one. We're going to draw another tape diagram. This time, we're going to divide it into 6 equal-sized pieces. So in this situation, this is our whole. This is 1. Our unit fraction is 1/6 because we divided it into 6 equal-sized pieces. And we're going to shade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those pieces. So altogether, we've shaded 5/6. And we could show that in a number sentence as being 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6. So 5/6 is equal to the sum of unit fractions. Then we could group these. Let's put 3/6 together and show 3/6 on our tape diagram. And then group these two together and show these on our tape diagram. So now we could rewrite our number sentence as 2/6 equals 3/6 plus 2/6. And we could organize these unit fractions into different groups if we wanted. We did 3/6 and 2/6, but we could have done 4/6 and 1/6. There's different ways of doing it, but in each of these we're showing the number as the sum of the unit fraction, which equals the number of equal sized pieces we've divided the whole into. Let's look at another one. So we're going to start once again with a tape diagram, and we're actually going to draw a second one of exactly the same size under the first one, and we're going to divide each of these into 4 pieces, 4 equal sized pieces. So if this is our whole, and we divide it into 4 pieces, our unit fraction is fourths. So here we're going to shade all of the fourths in the first one. This is a second one. We're going to shade in 3 of these. So altogether, we've shaded in 7/4. And we could say that we've shaded in 4/4 of the first tape and 3/4 of the second tape. So 7/4 is equal to 4/4 plus 3/4. We could also show this in a number bond. And we could further show this as 4/4 if our 1 is divided into 4 equal sized pieces and we have all of them, we have 1. We have the whole thing. So looking at this, we have 1 whole plus 3/4. So 1 3/4 is equal to 1 plus 3/4. So 1 3/4 and 7/4 are equivalent to each other. We can show this in a number bond also. 1 3/4 is equal to 1 plus 3/4. So we can write this either way, but we need to always be aware of what the unit fraction is, how many equal sized pieces 1 whole is divided into. Moving on. Let's look at another number bond. Another tape diagram. This time we're going to divide it into fifths. Let's try to make those a little more even. Because our pieces should always be the same size. So we have 1 whole here. We always have to indicate what our whole is. So 1 is all the pieces. So this is divided into 5 equal sized pieces. So our unit fraction is 1/5. And if I show that we're talking about these 2 pieces, this is 1/5 and 1/5. So what I've shaded is a total of 2/5, and we could write it as a number sentence equal to 1/5 plus 1/5. Okay, let's add to this. We'll take this away for now, and we're going to add this to the number bond, to the tape diagram, and shade in 2 more pieces. So we've shaded in 2/5. So now what we've shown is 4/5 And the tape diagram tells us the first piece is 1/5, the second piece is 1/5, and the third piece is 2/5. So this number sentence matches this tape diagram. Let's look at another one. Now, at first you might think, oh, there's 6, but I'm going to show that this much is 1. So if that's the case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my unit fraction is still fifths. And I'm going to group my fifths like this. And shade in all the pieces. So what I have here, I've divided the whole into 5 pieces, so I'm talking about fifths. So I have 6/5, which according to my tape diagram is 2/5 plus 2/5 plus 2/5. I could also write this as 1, since the 5/5 is 1, and then there's 1/5 left over. So my 1/5 could be written as, my 1 1/5 could be written as 5/5 plus 1/5, or 1 1/5 is equal to 1 plus 1/5. So we always have to know how many pieces equals 1 whole, so we can determine what our unit fraction is for writing our number bonds and our number sentences. So let's try some problem set problems. Number 1 says draw a number bond and write a number sentence to match each tape diagram. The first one's done for you. So here we've divided it into 3 pieces. We see all 3 pieces constitute 1 whole. So 3 equal sized pieces, that tells us that our unit fraction is 1/3. 3 1/3 equals 1, and our number bond matches. So take a moment to pause the video and try B. This tape diagram shows us that 1 is divided into 5 equal sized pieces. So our unit fraction is 1/5. So here we have 1/5. And here we have 3/5. In total, we've shaded in 4/5. So what 4/5 is equal to 1/5 plus 3/5. And so our number bond would show 4/5 as 1/5 plus 3/5. Pause the video and try C. So in this one, our 1 whole is divided into 4 equal sized pieces. So our unit fraction is 1/4. So here we have 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. In total, we have 3/4 shaded. So 3/4 is equal to 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. As a number bond, 3/4 is 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Pause the video and try D. Okay. For this one, our 1 is divided into 6 equal-sized pieces. So our unit fraction is 1/6. Here we've bracketed 2/6. And here we've bracketed 2/6 for a total of 4/6. And our number bond 4/6 is equal to 2/6 plus 2/6. Pause the video and try E. In this tape diagram, the whole is divided into 8 equal-sized pieces. So our unit fraction is 1/8. Here we've bracketed 2/8 and 2/8 and 2/8. And together we have shaded in 6/8. So our number bond is 6/8 is equal to 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8. Pause the video and try F. Okay, in this one we see that the whole is divided into 4 pieces. So our unit fraction is 1/4. In the first part we bracketed 3/4. Then we've bracketed 1/4 and then 1/4. So we have a total of 5/4, which we could also write as 1 and 1/4. So for our number bond, we could either use 5/4 or 1 1/4, and it's equal to 3/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Okay, pause the video and try G. In G, 1 is divided into 1, 2, 3 pieces. So our unit fractions are thirds. In the first part, we bracketed 2/3, and then 2/3, and 1/3. And in total, we've shaded in 5/3, which is also equal to 1 and 2/3. So our tape diagram could use either 5/3 or 1 1/3. In both cases, it's equal to 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 1/3. Okay, pause the video and try H. In this tape diagram, we have divided one whole into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal-sized pieces. We've bracketed 2/8, and then 2/8, and then 2/8, and then 4/8, and then 1/8. So in total, we have shaded in 11/8. Which we see is equal to 1 whole and 3/8. So we could use either one in our tape diagram. So we have 2/8 and 2/8 and 2/8 and 4/8 and 1/8. Okay, in number 2, you're going to be drawing the tape diagrams and labeling them to model each decomposition. So let's do 2A together. We're going to start with a tape diagram. Our fractions here tell us that we're dividing 1 whole into 6 equal-sized pieces. And we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. And we're adding them together one at a time. So we're bracketing 1/6 6 times. and that would match this number sentence. Okay, pause the video and try B. Okay. B tells us that our tape diagram would be 1 would be divided into 5 equal sized pieces. We're talking about 4 of them, and we'd have 1/5, and then 2/5, and then 1/5 for it to match our number sentence. Okay, pause the video and try C. Okay, for C, our tape diagram will be divided into 8 equal sized pieces. We're talking about 7 of them, 7/8, and it's equal to first 3/8, and then 3/8, and then 1/8 for it to match our number sentence. Pause the video and try D. Okay, D tells us that 1 whole is divided into 8 equal sized pieces. But we want 11/8, so in order to do that, we need to draw a second tape diagram equal to 1, divided exactly the same way. The 2 holes have to be exactly the same size. We're talking about 11/8, so we do have 8, 9, 10, 11. And we bracketed the first 7, and then 1, and then 3 to match the number sentence. Okay, moving on, pause the video and try E. For E, our tape diagram is divided into 1 whole is into 10 pieces. And so we have 10 here. In order to get 12, we're going to have to draw a second exactly the same size to represent a second 1, divided the same way and the same size. So to show 12 tenths, we do 10 tens, and then 11, 12. And we're first grouping together 6, and then 4, and then 2. Okay, pause the video and try F. For F, our 1 whole is now into 12 equal sized pieces. But we need 15 12ths, so we need a second tape diagram. And we're shading in 15. 12, 13, 14, 15, and we're grouping first together 8, then 3, and then 1. We start here, and we have to finish it over here to show this number sentence. Okay, moving on, try G. So we have 1 2/3, so we know that 1 is divided into 3 equal sized pieces. Our unit fraction is thirds. So we're showing first 1, which we know is 3/3. Then we need a second tape diagram to show 2/3. So our tape diagram is 1, and 2/3. Pause the video and try H. So for this one, our unit fraction is 8. So there's 1, then we need a second one to show the 5/8. Same length, divided the same way. So to show 1, we have 1, and then 5/8. We first have 1/8, and then 1/8, and then 3/8. And that shows us 1 and 5/8. And that's the end of lesson 1.